Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dealer and Dog Experience, where we talk about modern issues, politics, investing, and lifestyle. Today, we are joined by Mr. Evans Claude Sabbi, the one and only, the love doctor, the man of the hour. Today, we're going to be discussing about relationship. So, Mr. Evans Claude Sabbi.
Talk to me.
Who is Evans Claude Sabbi?
Evans Claude Sabbi.
Yes.
I'm a dating and relationship coach. And essentially what I do is help men and women clarify things around their lives, get in touch with their values and their priorities.
Gotta sit well for this.
You know, so that at the end of the day, they can live a life of abundance,
Right.
Live a life where they get in relationships with people whom they're proud of, people who share the same values and the same directions in life. So what I do is a lot of things, but one of the things that I'm proud of is one of my main work is helping men and women figure out relationships.
Helping men and women figure out relationships.
Yes, sir.
How? How do you help people figure out relationships?
I mean,
Before you get into that, like, what got you into coaching and relationship coaching in general? Like, what motivated you to be this kind of hitch, to help people, if you know what I mean?
Hitch. I get that a lot. Hitch. Will Smith. Hey, big ups to him. I would say
That's what they call him?
Hitch. You haven't watched the movie Hitch?
Of course I've watched the movie Hitch.
You need to watch the movie.
Of course I watched the movie Hitch. My question is, why do you get to be called Hitch?
We'll get into that in a little bit. But to answer Steve's question here, the main reason why I got into coaching was because I was trying to scratch my own itch. I had a few years back, about 6-7 years back, I had been in a relationship, got out of a relationship with a woman that she was an amazing person, but that relationship was something that I was not supposed to be in to begin with. So after I got out of that relationship, I had to figure out women. That was the first thing I wanted to do.
You wanted to figure out women.
I wanted to figure out women. Okay. What is it about women that some guys are able to attract the beautiful women that they desire? Right. Some guys live their entire lives trying to wish for a good relationship or even get to date the women that they want to.
Okay.
And it was just unpeeling the things that happen in dating. And at that point, I ended up finding that it was more about myself. I had to find out about myself before I could even interact with women and be able to attract women in a way that's going to bring us closer and allow us to connect us and be able to date the kind of women that I wanted to. Not just looks, also value-wise on that. So the biggest thing that got me into dating and relationship coaching was scratching my own itch and allowing other men, giving other men around me that advice. And over time, people are coming up to me and say, "Hey, Evans, why don't you start a coaching practice? Why don't you teach me, and then I will pay you to be able to guide me through this dating scenario that I'm going through right now." So that's how I got into dating, into coaching.
Wait a minute. They pay you for this?
Yeah. I mean, if you're adding value into people's lives, I think you deserve to be paid for that. So yes, they do pay me.
So, rekindling to my earlier comment, I gotta get paid too. Okay, we'll discuss about this off the record. But it's funny you mention you say that because me being me. And by the way, he's my little brother. I'm 4 years older than him.
Oh, he always likes mentioning that.
I like to remind
that he's older.
Just bigger because I used to let him eat my food when we were younger. So please, I'm the wise one here.
And the good genes, you can tell where the good genes went.
Yeah, because I was feeding him with my food. This is how much love I got for this kid. I was not eating, so he could eat.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. So me being your bigger brother. Watching you go through that process was interesting because we view relationship in a different spectrum.
Yeah, to some extent, yes.
And I think highly due to and this is highly due to the relationship we've had with women, different relationships we've had with women. And that led us to two different paths in understanding women. Mm-hmm. You're more peeling it out and understanding to build a relationship and more protecting myself from damages.
That can happen with enough experience where you try to, because of what you've gone through, you pick a different path as far as how you relate to women. Yes.
Based on experience.
Based on experience, yeah.
Interesting. So what was the biggest hurdle, let's say failure, or you've had with while coaching a couple or a person, somebody who's looking to get into what was the biggest failure you had?
I think when it comes to coaching, it's not that you have a playbook that you hand to someone and say, hey, follow this, and this is how things are going to be. You will find success once you follow A, B, C, and D. Everybody comes with different backgrounds, different values, different upbringing in general. So I find the failure it's never really a failure. It's just some sort of, as you mentioned earlier, it's a hurdle where it's like, okay, let's pause here. We are not getting the results that we want, and what might be causing this. So you have to go back and instead of teaching people things, it's more going back and show them how to unlearn some of the things that are holding them down. So a good analogy for this is no matter how much knowledge you get or how many women you approach, and you get to date these women, if you're having things from your past that are anchoring you down, it doesn't matter how much power you use, how many hacks or how many tricks and knowledge you have. If you're still holding on to these sandbags that are weighing you down, there is no way you're going to move at your fullest potential. There's no way, if you're holding on to hurtful experiences that happened at one point, you find that it's very hard for you to hold on to these things and also cultivate a meaningful, vulnerable, loving relationship. So at some point is being able to go back into somebody's future if you're having a really hard time trying to coach them past something, going back into somebody's past, and just uncovering, having conversations and unearthing what are the things what are the sandbags in this person's lives that are holding them down. So it's never really a failure. It's more of a learning process because you have to approach each and every person different. And there are some people that have come to me wanting advice, wanting guidance, and I was not able to fully help them.
You were not able to fully help them.
Exactly. Because not everyone who comes to me is the right candidate.
Maybe you should send them to me. I can help them.
Who would you consider the right candidate if you care to expand on that?
The right candidate is somebody who is, one, willing to learn new things that might be in complete contradiction with what they already know.
So would you accept people who are not the right candidates, or you just tell them right away, I don't think you'll be able to learn what I'm trying to teach you?
What I'm giving.
Would you stop them right away from wasting your time and his time or her time in the process, or you just do it?
There's a few people that I've had to tell them I cannot work with you because one, I knew their intentions to begin with were not right. There's a guy who came to me and saying that I want you to coach me so that I can have sex with as many women as possible, and literally at the same time, I want you to coach me to be a player, essentially, and the things that I teach men, they're principles that allow them to fully and deeply connect with women.
Okay.
And if you're going out with these women and telling them they're all that you want to, and you get to fully connect with them, and then all of a sudden you pull away, you're going to hurt someone or some people or some women along the way. And
speaking about that, I wanted to ask you, when you're in a relationship, when is the best time to tell your significant other or your partner your true intentions, either it be a man or woman? Because you all know before you get into the relationship, you already know what you want. Most of the people do.
Okay.
If we be completely honest,
I will say no. They do not know what they want. A lot of people do not know. They think they know what they want until they get what they want, and then they realize, oh shit.
Yeah, because I mean, we know people, friends that we know right away that he or she is not looking for a long-term relationship, but the partner doesn't know.
Okay, so in that sense,
but then by the time it's too late, as you said.
But here's the thing. When you say, I get now when you say that people know what they want. Some people want a long-term relationship.
It's like that guy. He came to you. He told you, I want you to coach me so I can be able to, Casanova type shit. He already knows what he wants.
No, there's nothing wrong with just dating different women and not wanting to commit. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But
when do you communicate that to the person? Like, listen.
His intention was, it seemed as if he was not looking to value these women that he was going with.
Yeah.
You could tell that he wanted to play them from the get-go. Mm-hmm. And for me, that is something I did not, that's not aligned with my values.
Wait a minute. So you don't like people to have fun?
It depends on what you mean by fun.
Fun, meaning like, this person wants to be a player. Mm-hmm. And he's communicating to you that he's not ready for a relationship long term. He just wants to have fun. There's nothing wrong to have fun. As you just say, there's nothing wrong. But
I actually encourage people to date a few women so that they can get to understand different characteristics of them before getting in a relationship.
Well, so you should have helped this guy.
No, his intentions, you could tell that what he wanted
was just purely physical.
Not just. There's nothing wrong with it being purely physical if both parties agree, of course.
Right. That was my other thing I was going to go to.
He had so there's one thing that he asked that how do you tell? There's a question you asked.
How do you tell somebody?
When do you communicate this to your partner about your true, intentions? Like, probably been with them probably a month or two.
Yeah.
You already felt them out, It might be, either party, girl or boy.
Yeah.
After being with them, you already know that, okay, I know how this person is. Or after a year or 6 months, how long? You already know, okay, this is probably not somebody I'm not,
I want to be with and spend and invest
But I'm
time.
just going to stick around so I can get these other few
benefits that come with it.
Yeah, but I know I'm not going to be with her or him long term, right? Because we've seen men and women just get shattered at the end because what they expect is not what they get. So when do you think is the best time to be really transparent about, listen, we could still, be together, but just know that my plan is this, this, and this. Don't push me, with the questions on this and that. When are we going to get married? Just what I mean.
Now, this is where I say, when you brought up something about people know what they want from the get-go.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that a little bit because with my experience of having talked to women, having talked to men, and coaching them through these things, I find that most of them do not. They want a relationship. Some of them want to be single, but they do not know why they want a relationship. They do not know the values that they're looking for in a man.
But isn't having or wanting to have a relationship, most of the time, end goal is to have a family someday and have kids.
Not for everyone.
What would the reason or the purpose of having a relationship is if you don't want to have a family at the end?
If you don't want to have family, but you mean kids?
Family. Family meaning husband, wife. You don't necessarily have to have kids because there's a lot of people who are married and don't have kids. And they're just still enjoying life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so having a family doesn't necessarily mean
kids and everything involved.
It's just being with somebody you like or you love, spending time with them, doing stuff that you enjoy, So that's basically it.
I mean, there will be people who still want to explore their options. There will be people who say, "Hey, this is a beautiful girl. I truly want to get to know her.
Yeah.
She seems like she's an amazing person, but I don't want to commit. I don't want to say that this is it. And that's why I advise people to, first of all, before you, if you can, at this moment, make sure that you have a well written down list of the qualities, the values you want in a partner. And this goes for a man and a woman. So I personally have a list. I've had my list since 2014, and the things that I must have in a partner and the things that I cannot
tolerate.
Absolutely no how.
So the moment you see that, that's a red flag for you.
It's a red flag.
What's the list? What's that list?
The list, I mean, there is she has to be a good communicator.
Right.
She has to be affectionate.
Right.
Loving.
Okay.
Adventurous.
Right.
We are also looking at someone who values eating healthy and exercising regularly.
Okay. That's me.
So that I have a list of around 10 to 12 must-haves.
Okay.
Any girl who doesn't have that or who is not working towards attaining that,
right,
I was never going to entertain for a long term.
Interesting. Now, I want to add on to what Steve was asking, but this is a question to you. What if you tell somebody you're not interested in a serious relationship?
Mm-hmm.
They say, it's okay. Let's not talk about it. I'm here. You're here. Let's have fun.
Okay.
Now, let's say the sex gets really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And maybe the two of you have a non-binding sexual agreement, meaning that she can do whatever she wants. You can do whatever you want. Now, most of the time, women like to have defined positions after some time.
Defined positions?
Defined position meaning that, who am I to you? Have you ever had this question? So what are we?
Mm-hmm.
After a couple months or weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, so what are we?
What are we? I think even men do that, actually. Men tend to do that way more. Sometimes they might not even...
it goes both ways.
They might not even express it.
It goes both ways.
So in that aspect, when somebody has already told you they're not looking for a serious relation, and then you proceed to ask them that question of what are we?
Mm-hmm.
What position do you put the person who was very clear at the beginning, and how should somebody answer that question?
I think in that scenario, there's no right or wrong thing to do. I mean, if you mention at the beginning that this is just
physical relationship.
Let's just have fun.
Have fun, yeah.
Keep it very casual,
right?
And a month or two down the line, a woman comes and asks you,
right,
like, "Hey, what are we? Where is this going?" Kind of thing,
right?
Things change
over time.
There might be a person that you wanted to keep things casual with,
but feelings start growing.
And the more the sex is good, the communication is amazing, and maybe that is felt on by both parties.
So it's either the sex is good or the money is coming in really nice.
I don't think it should have anything to do with money.
What does it have to do? Sex?
I mean, you just mentioned the sex is good and you two have been enjoying one another. I don't think money should be a factor when it comes to wanting to be in a relationship with someone.
But it usually is. It usually is.
It depends on the person. So here's the thing.
We're about to charge him some overtime.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying that somebody should not have a job. Somebody should be a person just smoking weed, sitting inside.
Not even smoking weed.
All I'm saying is somebody who is not responsible.
No value, basically.
Exactly.
They don't add anything to the relationship. Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm trying to put forth here is someone who doesn't have a direction, someone who wants to rely on the other person financially.
Right.
So everybody should be stable in their own place.
Right.
Anytime when you're starting to know someone.
Right.
And they should not be somebody that the other person needs to feel like I need to take care of this person financially.
Okay, so what type of woman would be? You're fishing.
So when it comes to the other person saying, "What are we?"
Right.
They're just trying to see, hey, how are we planning to move forward with this?
Okay.
She might be getting feelings. Oh, she might not want to proceed and get into a relationship, but she wants to make sure that you're still at the same place. So either way, I think if a man's position is still wanting to have fun,
right,
that is not her cornering you. That is her keeping the line of communication open,
right,
continuously, so that with the change in the way you two connect,
Right.
and with the change in the emotions that might be involved.
Right.
She wants to make sure that things are clarified.
So people
All the
should
time.
just, so basically people should just have prenups for these.
No, I think communication is key, right?
Yeah.
You should always communicate
Yeah.
But
every point of the journey, so that we know that we're still on the same page.
I mean, today
changed.
with my wife, we've been married for more than 2 years now.
Yeah.
We're still on a constant basis. It's like, okay, where are we? What are we feeling at this point? You know, how are you doing? I mean, we still have that commitment. It's not like we're not questioning if this is we're gonna get in a long term relationship. We're married.
So sorry, go ahead.
Because we're married. So, but we always keep in touch with how do we feel financially? How do we feel emotionally?
Right.
Is there something that I did or I might have done that might make you close up a little bit? You know, we have rating sessions every week or every other week. Yeah.
Stop. You have what?
Rating session where we rate each other as partners, as parents. You know, say on a scale of 1 to 10.
Now I understand why the Chinese government is trying to do this rating thing. So it's apparently a really nice thing. I didn't know.
No, it's for us. It's more of knowing that if I've done something that sometimes maybe my wife hasn't had the time to open up, when she rates me as let's say last week I was a 9 out of 10 as a husband.
So you have a credit score. This is interesting.
Yeah, if she rated me 9 out of 10,
I didn't love that.
and the following week I'm a 6 out of 10, there's something that
Like your body or your.
No, just overall as a husband. Yeah.
So you fluctuate that much in a week?
Sometimes, yeah. If it was a stressful week and I haven't been attentive to her and her emotional needs, or maybe I've been snappy,
Your credit score is really bad.
and then that score goes down a little bit.
Your credit habits are pretty bad. I wouldn't borrow your money. So, you kind of touched on my next question was, what's your relationship life like as a love coach? Or that was kind of my question, but
Yeah, what's my relationship like?
yeah, I know you already touched a bit about it. But
Yeah.
to add on to that,
I mean, I've been very fortunate with the person that I've ended up with, and I think that has to do with knowing exactly what kind of person I wanted. Right. So when she showed up, I had to, of course, you allow emotions to play their part.
right?
At the same time, I refer back to my list of, does she have these things? You know, and I had to check each and everything on that list.
She's an amazing woman. I can't believe you put her through this checklist. First of all, let's do long distance, and I'll get back to my original question.
Yeah.
What is your take on long distance relationship?
I hate them.
I mean, we got WhatsApp.
I mean, no.
FaceTime audio, video.
I will take that out. But no,
They got these little heartbeat now. You can send your loved one. You got an Apple Watch, yeah. So they can do a little tap tap.
They can hear your heart rate.
Yeah,
and
you
everything.
can get your heart rate.
No,
oh my God,
I was just kidding when I say hate them.
So
but
sweet.
one of the things that I promised myself a
This
while
is what
back,
you gotta watch so she can tap tap for you.
we haven't done that. We actually have never done that.
I gotta call Shemaj and get this done.
But on the question of long distance relationships,
Text Brenna, tell her to tap tap the watch. We want to see this for our viewers.
it was one of the things that I'd promised myself to never get into.
What, the tap tap business?
No, a long distance
Long
relationship.
distance, okay.
Yeah, and
So you're open to tap tap. Go ahead.
Yes, long distance
So
relationship.
you say you're not, you promise yourself never to get into it.
And then
You got into it.
I got into a long distance relationship.
Shit. I'm done.
So, and
I reckon your own rules.
it was, I was preferring not to.
Okay,
You
we're
know.
confusing our viewers today. Please bear with us. Get some popcorn. It's about to get juicy.
You know, so it's something because when I was single,
Yes.
I never had a scarcity as far as women to see, women to date, women to connect with.
Okay.
Emotionally, sexually, and any of that way. So my mentality was, why commit to a relationship that's going to be with someone who is 1,000 kilometers away.
Okay.
When you can drive 10, 15, 20, 50 kilometers.
Right.
And you have 3 or 4 options of women.
So you don't like hard work.
You can have sex with, you can connect with in that manner.
Right.
But when
you don't work hard, do you?
I don't work with
you don't work hard.
Like with women?
Yeah. Pursuing women. You get lazy. You say you like to drive 5-10 minutes. That's an Uber ride for like $10. Come on, man. We got to get this passionate. I drove for 2 hours to meet you. That type of situation.
I mean, my wife, I had to drive for 5 hours. I don't run out of gas. I plan well with my trips.
Okay, good. Oh, so you have Dan. It's okay. All viewers, please, you're allowed to drive 5 hours to have sex.
Not to have sex.
To meet the right woman.
When you meet someone who has the values that you want.
Okay.
When you meet someone who you feel like you can build a life with,
right?
Distance is less of a hindrance. You will always find a way to get to them.
So you forget about the mileage, the gas, everything.
You don't forget about it, but it's not something that holds you back.
Okay.
There's no time when there was an opportunity for me to go see my wife down in Portland.
Right.
That came up, and I thought about gas.
Aha.
That became less of a concern.
Interesting.
So
right.
Long distance relationships, you don't choose who you fall in love with. And that's the thing that I think most people should get.
I guess the level of trust should be at an all-time high to be able to.
You better do a long distance relationship.
And that's where you need to make sure that your values are aligned. I know with my wife I can trust her fully. And if you're with someone whom you can't have that level of trust with, then it might be a waste of time of trying to invest in that relationship.
There's people who still trust one another, but still get backstabbed. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Shit happens.
It's getting a little too popular. That's the thing.
The backstabbing and
how people get into relationship, they're amazingly in love with each other for the first, 2 weeks, 3 months, 1 month, 6 months. Mm-hmm. Now, as you know, in Vancouver, they have the seasonal relationships. Like everybody's coughed after October.
What, coughing season? Is that what you want to call it?
Yeah, so I think it's a trend. So October to April is May is coughing season. So from October to April is coughing season. Temperatures getting cold. Those electric bills are getting up there. BC Hydro has this double rate.
Whoever gets in a relationship
right.
because of the weather,
you're right.
They need to question their moral compass.
The weather.
Their moral compass. Morally.
It's survival. Saving the bills. Because you got somebody on your bed. She can help you lower the bill.
That doesn't justify
Cuddle.
to piggyback a little bit back, I earlier you mentioned about having a list, like the list you had in 2014.
Yeah. I still have it till today.
And some people, or some women, and men as well, but most women have a list with, a crazy list.
Right.
But as time goes on, the list gets...
I like how you put it, crazy list.
By crazy, you mean expansive, a big list.
Right.
Yeah, but as time goes on, the list gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And the difference between men and women, as men, we get colder when we age. But
as in emotionally, you mean?
We get colder. We just get colder in general.
I mean, physically, core temperature-wise, what are we talking about here?
When I say colder, how should I put it? That our value goes to the moon as we get older. But it's the opposite for
women.
Yeah. So, the people with crazy lists need to... What do you say to that? Because time is not on their side, but... It's on ours. So what would you say to that?
This is unfair game.
Yeah, it's usually an unfair, because as time goes on,
it's a biological disadvantage.
By the time they realize, oh shit, I'm 35, I'm 40, I need a man.
Nobody needs a man.
Ask a 45-year-old woman that question. We need to ask somebody 45 and up.
No, I've. Like most of the women that I actually coach are in their mid 30s to mid-40s ish.
Right.
Yes, there is a sense. There is a sense of urgency.
Yeah, because time is not.
That urgency is what he said they need. It's an urgency. Now you just mentioned it's an urgency.
There's this sense of urgency where I need to be with someone. I need to start having kids. These things come. There's that biological
menopause
clock.
is coming. Right?
Menopause hits.
That's the thing with women. So
should they just from your experience, should women that are 45 years old now, that are single, that are trying to be in a relationship, should they form a club and start telling these 25-year-olds, like, young lady, get it done now? No, it's not pretty up here.
No.
The skin starts dropping, little this start coming in, this little, start dropping. The what is this? The fuba? The guts start coming in, then the spandex start coming in. It's not a pretty sight.
I have no idea. I have no idea where you're getting those references from.
Dr. Miami.
Maybe
Dr. Miami's getting rich.
Maybe you need to start watching better shows. But
I try not to. Dr. Miami keeps popping up on my. What is this? It's not Instagram. What's the other one? Snapchat.
So back to the question of the age and our sense of urgency. So
they need men.
There is this social pressure.
Right.
To either if you want to have kids or if you want to just be in a relationship. At some point you want to have someone in your life whom you can trust,
right,
whom you can build a life with. And I've seen a lot of women drop some of the things that they had to have.
As time goes on,
they have dropped them. Now, to me, that is compromising, and for value that actually means something to you, you should never have to do that.
It's called cutting losses in the finance world.
But we're talking about personal relationships, and
same thing.
I don't see how that ties in. I don't see how that ties in.
Cutting your losses.
Time. But here's the thing: if you get clear with your values,
right?
If you don't compromise by getting in a relationship that is not going to be meaningful to you.
Right.
If you say that there's this thing that I must have somebody who's adventurous, but because I'm 35, I'm going to drop that off. That is unattainable. You're still going to crave that adventure in your life in one way, shape, or form. So you're not going to be the best version you can be for whoever that person ends up being.
35 is young. I'm 40.
You're talking 35 is young because you're 35 too. You're almost there.
But as I said from earlier, our value goes up as we age. So
by value you mean how we are seen in the social life.
We get colder.
What man?
So our value overall just keeps going up.
There's sometimes if you're trying to say that we mature. And we find that
men mature late.
As we get older, we mature. Yeah, but maturity for women happens earlier.
Much younger, yes. I agree with you 100%.
Happens earlier. And you find that as a man ages, he gets to understand himself a little bit better. Right. He becomes more attractive. Attractiveness comes with maturity.
That's what I'm talking about. The value goes up. We get colder, but as they get older... The value just keeps going.
But now here, I think by value you're trying to refer to two different things. It has to be on the same category. You have to say, but when you say our value goes up, there has to be a clear definition of what that value is.
All the above, anything you could possibly think of. Because say for example, Davis here. Mm-hmm. Davis is trying to get married. There's woman A. She's 50.
Mm-hmm.
She's 50. She has everything he needs. But she's 50. And then there's woman B.
So age
she's means... 20. She's 25.
Yeah.
She has the same things she has. If it's money, the love, anything, you name it. But she's 25. Mm-hmm. Who do you think Davis will go for? Do you think he's going to go for the one who's 50 or for the one who's 25? Just think about that. They both have the same amount of income. If money is the issue. Mm-hmm. Love is there, right? same goals, ambitions, finance, whatever. Just name it. Who do you think Davis is going to go for?
That all depends on his preference. You know, when I say
isn't it obvious?
Well, are you going to say he's going to go with a younger girl who is 25 at that point? Now, there's got to be his reasons for doing that.
He knows. He can ask.
No, but so this is not a hypothetical. I thought you meant this is a hypothetical.
Look, this was supposed to be a hypothetical question.
I think that is.
If anybody's interested in a relationship prenup, let me know.
What you guys
girlfriend prenup, not marriage, girlfriend prenup. Because again, in Vancouver, you don't have to be, or North America, most places, you don't have to be married for you to be in a like we call that. You could be liable legally by just living with somebody and that person receiving their mail bills within the same address you live in. It could be your house. You could be liable for alimony. And people need to understand, falling in love in North America has consequences than falling in love in Africa or Asia. It's a very complicated issue here. So the first thing people need to do is go to the family court, attend at least 3 family court sessions before you invite somebody in your house, because you could be liable for a lot of things without your knowledge. And that's what I found out. People I've attended court. People by the way, it's public. Anybody can attend this. I don't know about COVID times now, but it's a public session. People can attend this, but it's a much less harmonious pattern.
I think that has to do with personal experience. So
yeah, do you have any final thoughts, Evans, that you'd like to say before we wrap up?
There's a lot we could have talked about. I think the views that have been here, that have been shared, I think they're very incomplete. But I think maybe next time we can kind of look more into that. Otherwise, I want to say.
And where could people find you for coaching? Like, do you have an Instagram?
Coaching, I would say.
Do you have a Patreon? Do you have an OnlyFans? What do you have? How can people
OnlyFans.
Yes.
I do have my website if you're looking to get a coaching session. So you can go to the website, which is Evans, EVANS.
And we'll put everything in the link in the description below. So the
website
is for my coaching, evansabbi.com. Mm-hmm. You can go to Patreon for exclusive content.
You have Patreon account?
I do have Patreon.
Okay.
For people who want to, one is support my work.
Right.
And 2, being able to get exclusive content that I don't put elsewhere. Right. And then Instagram is Abundant Relationships, and also TikTok.
Okay, we'll put all the links in the description below. Thank you so much for having you, Evans. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we can have you here again in future episodes.
Yeah, we're going to have a part 2 based on what he just said. Clearly he had a lot to say. So we're going to do a part 2 of this. So stay tuned, people.
With that being said, like, subscribe, comment. Peace out.
Thank you.
My daughter liked to